I'm the Commissar. We're watching Forged Alliance forever, and you may have been desperate sometimes to stop experimenters, but were you so desperate that you did it by shooting it with a Continental transport that's carrying your comm? If you believe today's thumbnail, someone's that desperate. Let's find out. So we have a map that's very nearly 20 by 20, but not quite. And in the north of this map, we have the North team. And, you guessed it, in the south of this map, we have the South team. And Knabberwasser there is noting some reclaim. There is a decent amount of reclaim scattered around here. But we'll look at that in a minute. And first, let's meet the North team. On the left-hand end for North team, we have I Will Rage Quit. He's 1181 rated and Eon in electric pink. Let's hope he doesn't rage quit. To his right, this is Caliber, 1638 rated and Cybran. He's in baby blue. In what I can only presume is this season's particularly fetching Fika Brown, we have Mars 78, who is 1567 rated and Seraphim. Moving along in the next sort, this is Tantal, who is 1641 rated and Eon. He's in grass green. And last but not least, in the air position for the North team, we have Andon 1, who is 1405 rated and UEF. He's in red. In the South team, mirroring them, walking forward here with his base behind him, we can see freddyfresh, who is 1152 rated and Cybran in baby pink. Beside him, skirting this little pond here and with his base just about visible in the background, this is Knabberwasser, who is 1606 rated and Eon. He's in burgundy. Still residing in his base for the time being, we have SabDex, 1370 rated, also UEF. He is in white. Heading forward now is StormLantern, the game's highest rated player at 1958. He is lime green and he is Cybran. And last but not least, the air position for South team is held by this fellow right here, Doubledealer, who is 1328 rated and UEF. Now we've already talked about the reclaim on the map, here, here and here, and mirrored on the other side, but this plateau feels like it's going to be important because it's quite big, it's got mechs on, it hasn't got reclaim on, but it's got line of sight. Like, imagine an artillery piece right here, you could cause massive damage to South team's base from there, and same up here. So I think the plateau is going to be important, and so do our players. We can already see drops coming out from both SabDex and Mars coming to drop on the plateau. We've got a little lab scout pair trying to come and deny some of these delicious reclaim for South team, but South team is going in there with the comms, Freddy and Knabber here, and so these won't last very long. However, only 5 NGs for SabDex, but he's got a single lab left on board his transport and he's using it as a ghetto gunship, and he's going to try and deny these factories and NGs from Mars. Mars gets a factory down, but he's going to lose his NGs pretty fast. An Inti comes in from Mars to support, and Mars also brings a bomber. SabDex is going to get up this second factory, and I think he's going to get it up first, but this bomber could be a big problem. And the bomb falls, and boom, that is 3 of SabDex engineers taken out. Up here, the ghetto gunship has been shot down by the Inti, leaving a nice bit of reclaim. 4 NGs left for Mars, but he's got fewer factories already out, and there are already these tanks for SabDex, so this could go either way. Meanwhile, Caliber has dropped this forward expansion with a decent bunch of NGs. I don't know if it'll last though, because Storm's comm is not at all far away. However, Storm is going straight for the reclaim and might walk past it. Will he divert his comm to try and shut this down, or will he consider the reclaim, in which we can see Rage Quit already standing, is more of a priority? The fight is already going down on the plateau here, and Mars is producing. He's lost all his engines and he's only got 2 factories. SabDex still has 1 engine and is able to put up a 3rd factory, so this might go his way. And over here we've got the comms from Freddy and Knabber setting up turrets. They're going to be able to hold this area, and they've got basically all this reclaim. Speaking of the reclaim, before we zoom in again, who's doing better on the reclaim front? South team by some way. They've got double the reclaim that North team have got, so well played there. Although this has yet to be claimed, and Storm, who was originally going for that reclaim, is coming in here and he's trying to just eat this expansion that was dropped in by Caliber, and he's not even trying to eat it, he's trying to take it. This is a capture order that Storm has down on Caliber's factory. Caliber's defending by putting up these point defenses over here for him to fall back to, and his comm, we can see, is coming in here, but so this could, and he's creeping with the point defenses, so this could be a threat for Storm, but if Storm gets the factory, that'll be pretty fun. But Caliber's comm is here. Caliber's built this turret, but he captures the factory. Storm actually captures the factory. That's pretty funny. And Rage Quit, rather than support his ally, is just working on grabbing all the reclaim before South Team can contest it. And I think that's the right choice, because Storm is much more damaged than Caliber thanks to these point defenses. He's gonna be forced to fall back. Meanwhile though, Caliber's also dropped the mid plateau and now he controls it all. And we said there wasn't any reclaim here at the start, but now that's like 2,000 reclaim and a decent bunch of mexes, so it should be very powerful, North Team controlling this. And if they can get up some emplacements here or even here, that could be fantastic for them. But now it is Caliber who's under threat from Storm. I don't think he's got the production here, and Storm's brought in a decent number of units. On top of that, Double has brought his comm forward, and it is now Caliber who is actually under threat. He's got to retreat. Rage Quit has his comm in the area and can bring it in to help, but between them, we'll make that 3 comms. SabDex is also coming in. 3 comms and spam versus 2 comms and not much spam. Everyone's naked at the moment. Before joining the fight, Rage Quit has decided to go for the gun upgrade, starting with speed. And there are these point defenses that Caliber can fall back to, but Caliber is badly damaged and he is going to have to get out of there. And he does. He's going to fall back to where Rage Quit is upgrading. And Storm, I don't think, can take the a comm with an upgrade. It's only speed so far, but Storm doesn't have range yet. However, this expansion is going to die for Storm and Caliber. So over here we have Mars and Anden trying to threaten Knabber. Knabber is pushing forward, and we do have Freddy in support, but he's a little further back, so at the moment it's 2-on-1 fighting Knabber. You got Tantower over here, and he's getting upgrades. He's already got gun, and he's getting shield as well, so if he can come in, that could really swing it against Knabber and Freddy. And Rage Quit is massing an awful lot of troops here. This could really do damage to Storm if it just pushed down here. I don't make enough use of the draw function and I'm enjoying it. Though one could overuse it. Like, look at SabDex pushing in here with a few labs, which are just going to die. I might be getting a bit silly with the draw function. And not only has Rage Quit finished his regular gun upgrade, he's getting the extra range, which Caliber is helping him out with. Storm, meanwhile, is going for stealth first to get his hit points back and give him a bit more survivability. He hasn't got gun yet. But Rage Quit is helping Caliber to gun, and this pair could be a real threat, because I know we have 3 comms here, but there's no extra firepower, and there's only going to be a little bit of extra hit points on Storm. And Caliber is really doubling down on the production here in order to build up. Storm's also trying to get a little run by at the top here, but Caliber has dropped in from the plateau with a bunch of units, and they have killed a bunch of Storm's mexes. That 4 mexes they've taken out, that's pretty great, but Storm now has rhinos to defend. Still, 1 transport load of mantis for 4 mexes. I think that it 4 mexes? 3 mexes. I can't count. Either way, it's well worth it, in my opinion. Over here we have Tantal pushing in with gun and shield on Freddy. Freddy has a lot of units in support, but they're mainly only labs. These could threaten it. Freddy does have gun, but Tantal's got shield as well, and I don't know if there's enough for Freddy to take this fight just yet. It's gonna be close though. Over here, Caliber and Rage Quit are pushing in. Remember, Caliber has gun, Rage Quit has gun and advanced range. These boys are naked. Storm's gonna finish his gun, but despite these guys both having gun, it is 3 against 2. Storm is closer to his production. SabDex also with production here, and we haven't got really much coming down from Caliber yet. Although Caliber looks like he's going for a run by rather than supporting his comm, and that might be a mistake, because this is a huge wave of bombers from SabDex. And Caliber suddenly in the red, he's under fire. Boom! Caliber explodes. Bombed out and then shot in the face by SabDex. So now Rage Quit all on his own against 3. He is going to have to fall back. And that's a pity, because I think that Caliber and Rage Quit could have really worked together to cause some damage here. Tantal inherits from Caliber. And how's this going to sort out? And over here we can see on the minimap that Knabber is pushing in en masse with a couple of T2 units, and Freddy is pushing in on Tantal. But is Rage going to overextend here as Storm brings his units in? And Tantal's given the units over to Mars here to help out Storm on an upgrade, and Rage Quit could shoot him. And Rage is going to apply the pressure, but is he about to get 2 kills? This is actually a lot of T2 units, blazes, coming in from Rage. And Storm is forced to cancel the nano. Just keeping an eye here on Knabber, who is... I think he's got enough to survive this, though I do see point defenses, T2 point defenses going up to help defend Mars, and Anden is bringing his comm in. This T2 mass is doing well from Rage Quit, and Rage Quit is actually Sab is down into the red. Is he gonna die here? There could be some real damage done if we push. And this expansion at least is going to be shredded, but SabDex into the red, but he's going to get out of there. Storm's going to be able to hold because Rage just can't afford to push in there. Or can he? This is a lot of T2. These bombers from Mars, which might also help out. Is Storm overextended here? Because he's only really got T1 in support. There's like a Rhino, I think, in there. But most of... oh, and a Deceiver. But most of this is T1. However, Rage Quit has lost many of his units. We can see there that Knabber has fallen back. And the bombers do hit Storm, but he is not really going to be under any real pressure here, and his units can clear up this T1 push from Mars. Rage Quit still massing here, but he's not pushing. I think he could do damage. Over here, though, we have some shenanigans going on, and we have a tactical missile launcher in the forward base for Knabber, and these are a lot of T2 mexes which could be exposed. There is TMD here, but it's Eon TMD, so while it's amazing at shooting anything that gets within its range, it's got quite short range. This guy just got past here, And that's one T2 mech taken out. That's going to be another T2 mech taken out. This radar would be an amazing target for that TML. However, Tantar is at T3 and is producing sniper bots, which is quite quick, 14 minutes. And so, with sniper bots on the field, Knabber, who only has gun, he doesn't have any defensive upgrades, he's got to be careful of these sniper bots. And we've got Mars and Tantar here. Tantar heavily upgraded against Freddy, who also has gun. And this is decent spam from Freddy, but it's all T1. Knabber also has T3. We got a Harvey there from Knabber. And speaking of Harveys from Knabber, he has dropped the central plateau. And just in time, because this TML could do some real damage. I mentioned the plateau would be a good place for a barrage. Is it going to hit anything? I don't think it is, because there's a tactical missile defense here, which will catch it. In fact, there's two. And it gets sucked up. So this plateau attack from Knabber could do really well. There's T2 point defense, which is good, but these are 3 Harveys. Freddy is getting damage done though on... I'm going to keep watching this on the minimap, but Freddy is getting done on Tantal's production and might get damage on Tantal. Mars needs to move in, and he does. But this is quite a big swarm, and there's now T2 in there as well. However, Tantal has Harveys in there in support. Freddy's comm is a little too far away to help. Tantal vets up at a crucial moment, and that might be enough to keep him alive. And I think that having seen this other come in here and Andin on point as well, Freddy is more interested in Tantal's production and mexes. This radar would still be a lovely pickup, but Freddy hasn't been able to get it. Storm on this side. Remember we mentioned Ragequit had a big army here. He still does. Storm has T3 though, and this is almost all T2. But Storm doesn't have much T3, and this Loyalist is just sort of wandering off on its own. Rage could push in here, and he doesn't. I wish he would. That's a slightly better T2 army from Mars, but Storm now has gun and stealth. Nano would be better for taking this on, but I think that would be enough to repel it. And Rage actually retreats a little bit up here. And Knabber is now under a bit of a threat. He's got a few T3 units here, but this line of snipers under shields is more than enough to protect from a little bit of T3 shenanigans. And although the Harveys did good work up here, the lines and lines of T2 point defense have been enough to keep the plateau in the hands of Mars. Again, Storm going for Nano, and we've got these Rhinos coming in from Mars trying to force a Cancer. Knabber's trying to push, but I think the line of snipers, which could just kite back into these point defenses, will easily foil it. And Knabber agrees with me and falls back. Storm is still fighting these T2 units from Mars, and he is not under threat though. He's got loads of it, and more to the point, he's now bringing in bricks and SupCom to help out. But meanwhile, over this plateau, Double is going to take the air fight against Andin, and I think Double is going to win it. Now, air control could be key, especially when it comes to things like getting back control over the plateau. This is an immense amount of T3 production here, we've got to note. And if it could, as is this, look at this, this is, between them, that is 11 T3 factories that are now producing for Ragequit and Mars, and that could really be a threat to the forces that Storm has down here. But this airfight win, I think that's going to be huge. Do we have Double taking advantage of that by switching up to gunships here? Yes, we do. We have broadswords coming out. Tantal is pushing Freddy with his comm on the other side. And these snipers are not to be underestimated. Freddy could really be in trouble if a bunch of snipers can't get into range. And Freddy is advancing towards the snipers, which feels okay, now he's going back. But Tantau doesn't want to take it, and I can understand why. Freddy is the lowest rated player on the team. Sniping him would give all the eco to Storm, who is 2000 rated. More Harvey drops up here, and this time there's NGs as well to support it. But now there's T3 production and T3 drops coming into the plateau. That Othium came in, however 3 Harveys is enough to stop it. And this time Knabber is sending more. We can see this transport coming in carrying 3 more Harveys. And a lot of the point defense has actually gone down here. I didn't see what did it. If you saw, tell me in the comments below. Meanwhile, Double is sending out gunships, taking out this radar and these mechs on the plateaus up here. That's good play. And Rage is finally taking the fight against Storm. And he has so much here, he can just smash in there. There's a lot of stuff that Storm stands to lose. Storm has a few bricks and a few fire beetles on a transport. We'll have to watch that. And the Harveys here look like they're going to be able to clear up the plateau for South Team. I'm excited to watch on where these fire beaters are going. But we now have an artillery battery being the answer, and what was that? I will give an inset for that later, because which you'll hopefully be able to see down there, because I think that SabDex just overextended. I'm sorry guys, I did a guile, I'm TheCommissar. And SabDex just walked into this horde of bricks from this massive T3 production from Mars that he inherited from Caliber. And these bricks are actually a real threat. The Harveys have cleared the mid-plateau. There's 1 Othium left dropped there, but 3 Harveys will easily clear it up. So these bricks are where I want to look, because there is a lot of damage that they can get done. Other than SupCom, sorry for missing that. And these are mexers that can just die, but I think Double is going to be able to come to the rescue with his broadswords. There's no anti-air in here. And so there's nothing to stop the broadswords. Double still has air superiority. It's just a matter of how much damage these bricks can actually get done before they are cleaned up. And that is a T2 mechs going down. They might be able to lay claim to another, which I think would be worth it. Nah, they're falling. Okay, they'll get that one probably, but they're falling back. They don't think that pushing into these bricks and these broadswords is going to be worth their while. And they might not even get that other mech. No, they won't. So, good defense there from Storm and Double. Over here, Knabber is continuing his bombardment, but he's actually dropping Harveys now over the edge of the plateau and into Mars's base. I love that. That is great. And this is good too. He's parked anti-air up here, so it can't be shot from down from the ground, and that will defend them from an air attack. And these could really get some work done, these Harveys. Tantau still sneaking around with the sniper bots here, but has Knabber got enough to break it? I don't think he has. And these Harveys are splitting up to just get eco damage done and force the response to be split up as well. So that's 3 mexes taken out by these Harveys as well. That power would be fantastic if he could pick it up. I don't think he's got time to. And anyway, he's obviously focusing on the match. Make that 4 mexes. These are doing great work down here. The air fight is taken again over the plateau, and Double is just cleaning up. He can really get some work done with these gunships that he's got right here. They could just walk in, but look at the size of this army. Why isn't Rage quit pushing with it? He could do so much. Please, my dude. I'm a bit slow. It's fine, says Rage quit. In moving this army, my friend, yes you are. as Mars retreats into the water to avoid the gunships. And these Harbies are still going. Look how much this Harbie has actually got done. This has been rebuilt, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mexes, and it is still going. Our first experimenter is up. Tantar has built a galactic colossus here. But this Harbie, this one Harbie, feels like MVP so far. It is shredding its way through Mars' eco. Speaking of eco, South Team were ahead by 200, which isn't game-breaking, but is pretty decent. And Freddy is going in for a run by here as well, but it's going to walk into the GC. This is a big push, which is good because the GC is distracted over here, so this push from Knabber can come in and get some hits. But the GC clears up the run by, which did take out a Mex, and now the GC is coming in to fight it. However, Mars could be in trouble if they ignore the GC and just chase Mars, but they don't. I think Mars, as a 1600 rated player, would have been worth the kill, but they're going in to try and stop the GC, and I do not think there was enough here to try and actually stop that GC. See, it's damaged, but these Harbies are all going to die, no problems, and the GC will be able to push on. Meanwhile, Tantar is kiting forward, and a lot of this is still a T1 from Freddy, which I think is a mistake. Tantar can just say that with his comm, which now has heavy shield, and he's got these snipers and Harbies to fall back to if anything worse comes along. And Knabber realizes he can't take this GC. He's falling back with his units. Though maybe he's going to wait for his experimenter to come forward. He's got a GC of his own, built in the back here. Few exploratory bricks from Mars coming in on Storm's side, but Storm has enough here to stop it. If only Rage Quit would push with this ever-increasing army. There is so much here. He could just smash this. It's going to be a little hard now there's a bank of T2PD there, but he's got enough in there to smash that, no questions asked. And these bricks don't feel like they're going to push it, and they're right not to. They would just die to this rot. These cheeky loyalists could sneak past there and get some damage done down here, though. However, Tantar's GC looks like it's going to be moving in, supported by all the snipers and everything else, and the barrage of artillery from Knabber's forward base is significant, but I don't think it's enough to stop that GC. This monkey will help, though. Now, as we all know, GC beats Monkey, but GC does it beat Monkey backed up by all this firepower, and these broadswords, the broadswords are coming in from Double to try and take out the GC. Is there any anti-air in here? A little bit, not much. And Double's not even going forward. I think he should. It would only take a couple of shots for the broadswords to kill that, and the GC is forced to retreat. Storm defending against those bricks with his army here. He's doing pretty well. And that GC, I'm sure, is going down, but Double's air defense is out of position, and Andon is able to come in and take it. Double is just going to lose all the GCs. All the broadswords that are trying to attack the GC. But Andon's landed his fighters by mistake, but it's okay. The GC is down, though, to a combination of the broadswords and these bricks from Freddy. And Tantar's going to have to retreat. He can't stop this. Oh, you know, and the monkey from Freddy. Let's not forget that. And there's just lots of XPs going up across the map, though. Rage Quit finishes his first, which is presumably another GC somewhere. And we've got this monkey coming forward from Mars. Yeah, there's Ragequit's GC, and Storm has built an XP. What's Storm built? He's built this mega over here. The plateau hasn't really been developed by anyone yet. Knabber still has a few mexes up here, but these ones he built were taken out by these bombers. There is this anti-air defense from Knabber on the plateau, which is great, but hasn't really achieved much. And we have a slow creep forward here from this mobile arty that is waiting for this next GC from Knabber. And Knabber's trying to drop T3 build power here on the plateau and get some shenanigans up like Sam's, but I don't think that's going to last, because this is a lot of broadswords coming in from Anden. And indeed it's not. And again the airfight is taken. These Percys on a Continental from Storm, they're going to have to land, because it's now Anden who has air control, and these broadswords from Double are going to have to be careful, because suddenly the air control has changed, and now it's Anden whose gunships can wander around freely. And sure, these Percy's bricks, what was I talking about? Oh, because they were on a Continental, I thought they were Percy's, but no, they're bricks. And Percy's, okay, they're both Percy's and bricks. They look nice up here, but they're not going to achieve much because the Continental was forced down. And now is the time, finally, we have the army from Rage advancing. It's supported by this army from Mars, and this is huge. Over here, though, the push, including the GC from Knabber, is going to get work done. I think we're going to have to go to split screen here. On the left, Ragequit and Mars coming in to take the fight. Storm's got a mega in defense, but this is a big army. On the right, Knabber is pushing in on Tantal, and there's a lot of point defense here, and there is another GC coming in from Tantal, but this is a big army from Knabber. And I think it is really going to be able to get some work done. Wait for GC, bro, says Caliber. Is he talking about over here, maybe? But Knabber doesn't look like he's going to take the fight and is falling back. That was a big batch of fire from his artillery there. I think Knabber could take this, especially with his undamaged GC, but now there's a chicken coming in as well from Mars. Over here, the Mega is shooting up Ragequit's army, which is falling back, but as it does so, and we've got Rage's GC coming in. That must have been the GC Caliber was talking about. And look at all the lines that Caliber is drawing, telling everybody to attack the Mega. Is it going to be enough though, or can Storm defend? And I think that Knabber thinks he can't take this and is retreating, so we can focus over here as the Mega is under fire. It's going to take down the monkey. Boom! But will it get the GC as well? I don't think it will. I think there is enough here to stop that Mega. Because sure, Mega beats GC, but remember that the Mega has already been damaged by the monkey, and this is a big army from Ragequit and from Mars. And the Mega goes down, and what has Storm actually got left to defend here? He has nothing. They can smash everything. He's got his comm, but that comm cannot stand up to a GC. He's gonna have to go for a bath and get under the water. Now, Doubledealer is bringing in his horde of broadswords, and that could be great, but has he built up enough in the way of ASF to actually defend from Anden's air? And we can see on the minimap that Anden's air is getting in there. Anden is also using his broadswords to raid up here, but Double can't afford to fight that because he's got to defend his gunships. And he's going to take the airfight, but I think that Anden has way more, and I think Anden is just going to take that airfight and be able to take down these gunships. And so these forces from Rage can just advance into Storm's base. He's attempting to ground fire Storm's comm in the water. Anden really ought to stick around and take these out. Storm's brought another Mega in. I think that Mega is going to be enough if microed well to deal with this. And the attempts to ground fire Storm, and there's already an Othium here with torpedoes, are quite amusing, but he's tanking a lot on that Nano, and this GC only has 1,000 hit points left. What is this? Quick check over here. Freddy's in the pond getting laser, and the defense is still holding. Back to Storm. And now the GC is just trying to stomp on him. And I mean, he's getting a tiny bit of stomp damage. But this 1,000 hit point GC, which is completely under the water, so it can't be attacked from the air except by torp bombers. And now the ground fire, but it's too deep. The ground fire is trying to hit this GC, but from the Mega. Just walk the Mega into the pond by The Mega has torps. It could torp that GC in like 1 second with its 2,000 hit points remaining. Just walk in, please. No? No, he's not going to do that? Okay. And now Storm has a problem. He has to get out of the water because there are these torp bombers coming in. But if he gets out of the water, there are these gunships coming in. There's no way that Doubledealer has enough to break through these ASFs. Storm is dodging in and out of the water, trying to avoid both the torpedo bombers and the gunships. Move this Mega a tiny bit more into the water and it will kill that GC. As these T1 engineers try to put up T1 anti-air turrets. The naval yard in an attempt to block, but in come the broadswords again from Anden. Somebody agrees with me. Somebody says get that it's right, it's SabDex. SabDex says get that into the water because 1, it will then be safe from the gunships, and 2, it will shoot the GC. The GC sees it coming and walks out of the water. I think that GC is actually going to survive, which is going to be wild. Double comes in to take out the gunships, but he's just going to lose there again in the process. He's going to be utterly mashed. Trying to hide under the Mega from the torps. Does that work? It seems to. But the GC is out and escaping somehow. That's wild. There were a bunch of Storm's bricks are probably going to kill its few remaining hit points. Are they? Or are they just going to get sucked up? Down it goes at last, but that was pretty mad play there. Meanwhile, Storm has finished in Novax, which he's now shielding. But Mars has finished an Arswasher Bomber. The experimental bomber is a good pick when you have air control, and he absolutely has air control. Or rather, his teammate Anden has air control. Look at this, everybody's in the pond, as well as our antics with Storm earlier. Knabber's in the pond. Freddy in the pond, still getting laser. But where's that washer? Appropriate for hiding in the pond. Is this our Hot Springs episode, or the ACUs in skimpy little bikinis? Tell me in the comments below whether you would watch a Hot Springs episode of Forged Alliance Forever. And it's also, so the first bomb hit just the shield, but the second bomb takes out a lot of Double's eco. However, Double shoots the bomber down with his ASFs, but at what cost? I will tell you the cost. He's lost air yet again. This is a delicious mass dump though, 25,000 mass. But if Double's gonna be just behind in air all game as a result, was it worth it when he could have just waited for it to come over these SAMs or SAMs up here? It's a difficult decision. And over here we have Mega Monkey, the classic combination, but there's no anti-air accompanying it apart from one bouncer back here. And so these are having fun with it, these broadswords from Anden. And thanks to this Mega, Mars can now push in quite hard. Look at these reclaim boys just eating up these tens of thousands of mass that have been dumped by the fights that we just saw. And the Novax is working on Anden's air grid, which is unshielded. This could be a huge pickup if you can take out the power and cause some chain reactions there. Though good reclaim action to stop the bomb and the chain reaction, so there's no explosion from the volatile P-Gen. Good reaction from this engineer. If it hadn't been for that, there would have been a lot more explosion there. These air factories would have gone up. and these PJs would have gone up with them. Oh, nice. He retargets the engineer so he can't pull the same trick again. Anden could be set to lose a lot of his aggro, though Anden is almost finished with a Novax of his own. And Double is starting one, so with a lot of Novax play today. Let's see how that turns out. Oh, and it's not going to be a Telemazer from Freddy, it's going to be a Cloak Mazer, which, as I'm sure my regular viewers know, I much prefer. And Anden completes his Novax. He's working on shielding his air grid, taking the space used by the PGens to put up shields. I don't think the Novax is going to get much more work done on the air grid. And I think that Storm realizes that as well. It looks like it's going ahead and try to pick off some of these exposed T3 mexes, which would, in my opinion, be a good choice. Down here, Monkey and Mega getting work done on the Reclaim Engineers, and Mars doesn't think he has enough to push it yet, but soon he will, as Rage Quit sends multiple Colossus in support. Quick look at the eco, which we haven't talked about for a little while. Roughly even. North team slightly ahead by 200 mass, which you might say is a lot, but when the average is 2,000 mass, it's not as much as you might think. And as well as the Novax, Storm is now working on a disruptor here. Do we have any... We have RT planned here. You can see the build template there for a T3 Hovertham static RT in Master's base, but it hasn't got up yet. He's focusing on pumping out more of these ground experimentals. This is a big gunship force from Anden, who really needs to use it, because he's got his air superiority. Have we looked at where Anden's Novax is? Well, it's just coming over the plateau now, but that might be Double finishing his. Yes, it is. So we now have 3 Novax on the field. And more planned. Novax, the best scouting device in the whole game, in my opinion. Like an Eye of Rian, but it doesn't cost power to run. And Storm is trying to fall back here because he doesn't think he can take this. His Mega's already been damaged, so I understand that. And Rage Quit has just given over his GCs to Mars. Storm is working on a fatty here, but if he gets pushed by this one, that fatty is not finishing. And Double is responding with... Oh, look, this Mega's just dead. Boom. And the XPs are just hiding in the water as Double responds with gunships. Now, that would be a good play. And Double's actually got a decent air force backup. Anden's coming in to take it. He's going for the gunships first. Oh, but watch this, watch this. Knabber has also gone for T3 air, and Knabber is joining the air fight. It's looking about even between Double and Anden, but with Knabber coming in as well, air control is suddenly back in the hands of South Team, and this could be huge. This could be absolutely huge. Because now, Double and presumably Knabber as well. Where did Knabber build an air grid? But look at this, Knabber's got this whole air grid down here. This is great work from Knabber. We haven't looked over here recently either, and this is a big horde. 2 chickens, 3 GCs against a single Mega from Freddy. This could really do the damage. And so we're going to have to watch both. These 3 GCs might have a chance here because Storm appears to have left all his bricks behind. Over here, this is a lot of spam from Freddy, and Knabber is throwing up GCs pretty damn quickly in defense, but this is an awful lot of XPs from Tantal. The GCs focus the monkey first, and in terms of hit points to damage output, I think the monkey is, better than the Mega, so that's the right choice. Now, 3 GCs, one of them severely damaged against the Mega. Storm is bringing in his army, but Mars is bringing in his army as well. I don't know which way this is going, but I think that Mars might just have it. And over here, Freddy is kiting back his Mega. But this is a big army from Tantau in terms of... And the Mega is down, but so is Storm's Mega. And that looks like it's going to be a win on both sides for the North team. Knabber brings in another GC and has a third one right here under production, but it's not ready yet. However, we have another Mega coming in for Freddy. And is this frenzied production from the South team going to be enough to defend? I think it might be. Over here, though, Storm is going to have a problem. These guys could push south and stop this fatty. Yes, look, this next GC is going to go up, and it's going to be in time. It is going to take out... Don't stop now, Freddy. Keep shooting. It's being focused while still under construction, but they should be focusing the build power to stop it actually going up. It's going to be damaged, but it's going to complete, and it shoots back, and somehow they've defended. But over here, boom, that fatty is denied, and these 2 GCs are going to keep on pushing in, and the defense finishes over here. Look at that, that's wild. Quick check up here where Mars has finished his T3 RT and almost finished his second, and Double's trying to take it out with his Novax, but is he really doing much? And his Storm's Novax helping out. But what we have to worry about is these 2 GCs followed by a Mega that Storm was unable to stop, and Storm is right here. However, he's got a Continental. I think he's trying to get his comm out of the way with this Continental, and I would not blame him for doing so, because 2 GCs is more than a comm can usually take, and they might be about to focus him, but he gets in the Continental and flies away. That was a close shave, especially with this Mega coming up behind, and Storm hasn't yet finished that T3 Disruptor, but it's so nearly finished. But I don't think, but if this could be a horrific loss for Storm if this 90% complete Disruptor is taken out by this push. And there's T2 point defense, just a little bit of it, and it is, look at that, that is painful for Storm. So is the Mega under construction, and so is the Monkey under construction. This is brutal. Storm sending gunships to defend, but how is he going to stop these 2 GCs? Well, Double's bringing in gunships too, and Storm is bringing his comm back on the transport. Is he going to try and drop behind them and overcharge them? So Percy's and Brit can fire Continentals, and hundreds and hundreds of labs can fire Continentals, but comms can't. So this is just a comm flying around using the Continental's firepower, and only the Continental's firepower, to attack the GCs. And sure, the GC is going to go down. It should take that HQ. That should be its target, the T3 HQ, but it's not. I don't know if he saw it. But while we were focusing on that, Storm's Novax has been taken out by a combination of Andon's Novax and the T3 artillery from Mars. Has he got the second one up? Yes, he has. There are now 2 Novax from Doubledealer trying to take it out, but they're not able to break through these super tough Seraphim shields. And Mars brings in the Mega that was following the GCs, but I don't know if it's going to... Oh, it's so near. Please, just kill the HQ. That would be... That's what you need to kill. You do not need to kill these T1 factories. You need to kill the HQ. Down goes the Mega. And I think the HQ is somehow going to survive. That should not have happened. That was incredibly lucky for Storm. As what are you doing, Mr. Brick? Shoot this. Shoot this. Shoot this. But no, no, he chooses to shoot the stupid T1 factory when the HQ is right there. Are you kidding me? Not that, actually, to be fair, Storm's lost all his other production. And he's about to lose the HQ to the net. Actually, is he? This GC is under... That's an immense number of gunships after South Team got the air win. Double could probably do something with that. Like, kill these RT. What he's trying... But at the moment, Knabberwasser is trying to kill the RT with this huge bank of tactical... What on earth has gone on here? Okay, we have a GC coming up out of the pond here for Knabber. And another one coming down here, but Tantal has got a bunch of GCs in defense. And they're gonna defend. The shield is down over the disruptors. Can the Nova Seas take them out as another wave of tactical missiles comes in? But the shield goes back up and the banks of point defense take the tactical missiles out. I think the disruptors are going to survive, and that feels like it was a... But Knabber has a strat. How's this GC doing? Tantal is going to take it out with his... With his GCs. The GC is trying to take out the comm, which could be a nice pickup, but it's not going to make it. And single strats from Knabber aren't going to cut the mustard here anymore. But, you know how Double used to have an air grid? He doesn't anymore. It has been taken out by the Arty and by Anden's Nova Seas. And I don't know how I can keep an eye on all of this. It's going mad. And one of the Nova Seas for Double is down. The other is under fire. There's no shield covering it. And suddenly, what have they got to take out these Arty here? Nothing. Their Arty, their own Novaks are dead. Both of Double's Novaks and Storm's Novaks. I say both of Double's Novaks. This one is technically still up, but not for long. Freddy messing megas here. And lots of arrows being drawn. Oh, for the gunships. Sab thinks the gunships should take these out, but maybe they won't need to. The RT does some of the damaging. The Knabber's strats come in, but the shield goes back up. I say the RT. Knabber's built an RT here, which we didn't talk about because there's RT everywhere now. And Knabber's strats have been shot down by the few ASF that Anden has, but he's building more. And he's building more Nova Seas as well. He's built a second, he's on a third. And since Double's lost his air grid, Anden might well be able to catch up in air. Brutal. Anyway, in come the gunships from... And the RT nearly did its job. One of the disruptors is out. The Hoverthams, whatever they're called, is out. The other is damaged. In come the broadswords, but there's a lot of SAMs about, and these broadswords might not be enough. I think they will get the RT though. I think they'll be able, and they break through. What are they going to focus the right things? They're focusing. There we go. Okay, good. The RT is down. Where are they? And they have got air cover from Knabber. Tantal also has RT. That could be a valid target for these broadswords. And taking that out will be a big pickup for the South team. And he's going to, but his broadswords are falling out of the sky. More SAMs are going up. I don't think they're going to break through. I think Tantal's RT is going to survive here. And it does. Knabber now has got the air control, as Double is just using what's left of his air grid to mass strats. Storm is asking for E. Why is he asking for E? Well, that's why, because he's in the middle of a teleport. Where is he going? He's going here. He's trying to snipe out the RT with a teleport, but I think that Tantan knows about it, and I think that Tantan knows about it because he's got a GC standing right here looking at it. And it's being pung. This is, and also this is outside the shield. So, all in all, I think that Storm is about to be in for a nasty surprise as he comes in with his telemator. is outside the shield, gets 0 damage done, and gets shot in the face by a GC. Boom. Fake 2k, says Caliber, and while I don't agree with that in general, I do agree with... Oh, nice. So Knabber going for Zars here to take advantage of his current air control, and he's doing decent damage to the bases that Marty the Builder inherited. Lots of eco he can shred through here. And speaking of eco, after all this was smashed out by the invasions from the north, and look at the NGs coming into Ititor, there is now a 700 eco lead there for North team, and this Tsar is going to have to do something about... Okay, it's not chosen to stick around and take these mexes out, which I think it really should have done. It's going in here, trying to get the RT that has now been put up by... He's working on a Paragon, but it's only just started. We'll have to check back on that. He's trying... Anyway, the Tsar here is trying to do damage to Rage Quit. More Novaks out from Doubledealer, and there's still a Tantal's RT firing down on Knabber's RT, but Tantal's RT has broken through, supported by the Novaks, and I think that Knabber's RT is going down. Yes, it is. We have another XP push coming in here from the north, but the response is Knabber's Zars, which at the moment North team doesn't have an answer to. This guy should be walking while the Tsar is shooting the Mega, because it would have got some damage done, but now the Tsar could just come back here and kill it, no problems. And this Tsar up here, it's going to take out the RT. No, it's not. Yes, it is. It dies, but it falls on the RT and destroys it. And Freddy has finished Cloak and Laser and is walking out. He's got these 2 Megas in defense, and sure, Mega beats GC, but I'll tell you what even 2 Megas doesn't defeat is 5 GCs and 2 chickens. Now, they can't see Freddy, but Freddy has a monkey laser in his face. However, 5 GCs is a lot to ask for one comm to take down. How's the Tsar defense going over here? Well, there's a lot of anti-air in here, and Knabber has lost 1 Tsar, but he keeps on defending with his endless stream of Tsars. And here is Freddy, ready to defend. You're not going to let me down, are you, Freddy? You're going to walk in, aren't you? Aren't you? Yes! Yes, he is. No, he's going to walk away. Okay, maybe he is. But you know, these guys are faster. Do they see him? Wrong guy. Do they see him? Well, now they do, because he's shooting at them. They don't know where he is, but they see that he must be there. The GCs stop and try and ground fire his position, and they're hitting him. And with 4 GCs ground firing, it's going to be enough. Boom! Freddy is taken out by GC ground fire, even through his cloak. But we have got a Scathis. We have got a Scathis that Freddy had just finished. It's under Novak's fire, but it's here. What can it do? And what can it do before these GCs walk in and get it? Over here, the Tsar defense has been valiant, and there's now strat defense as well, but it hasn't been enough. What was Storm's old base is going to fall to this GC. And the Scathis fire, where's it going? I think it's going for Tantal. It is. But there are 2 Novaks on the Scathis. But now it's going for Andin's air grid, and Andin is short of power. A volley of Scathis fire right now could be devastating. Nope, I was lying. It will still go for Tantal. And his shields are back up. And that's a pity, because it is now going for Andin's air grid. Like 1 shot earlier and that would have been great. But the Scathis, though it's under fire, is still surviving. We're gonna, maybe I'll watch that on an inset as we see whether it gets through. The Scathis gets through. Is Andon's air grid about to go down? Andon hiding in the pond too. Shields come back up though. And it's still firing. Over here, the XPs are all dead for North team in this push, and the defense continues with a fatty from Doubledealer. And is the air grid going to die as the Novax comes in? And the Scathis is down. The last volley doesn't even kill the Novax as the shields go back up and Andon's defense survives. The Scathis is down, the SCUs are down, and I think the writing is on the wall for the South team as they have only half the eco of their foes. They have only a tiny portion of map control. They still have the plateau, which nobody ever really did anything with. That's slightly disappointing. And Double is trying to get work done with his waves of strats, but these 4 GCs just storming into the base that once held the Scathis belonging to Knabber. Knabber walks out of the water. And honourably dies to the GCs. Multiple fatties in defense for Double, but Double is now all on his own. Actually, I say that about map control. In theory, the map control isn't bad, but in practice, he doesn't have control over this. He doesn't really have control over this. Multiple RTs back up now here for Mars. Units coming into Double's base as he gets the 3rd fatty up, but it's just not going to be enough. He's got a nuke launcher here. But the Nova Seas are just mashing the fatties. Support commanders explode as the GCs walk in. This is actually all anti-air, and the fatties are probably doing more damage to Double's own base than they are to the anti-air. And Double's shield goes down over the Novax. He's got a nuke half built here, but he's got a nuke loaded here almost. If the RT doesn't hit it and he loads it, is he going to be able to do any wizardry with this nuke? Where it launches, and a second later, it's barely out of the clip when the nuke goes down. But it's out. It's firing. Where's it going? And Doubledealer laughs about it. He's going to pick himself up in a Continental to try and escape the Nova Seas. Is the nuke going to actually achieve anything? Looks like it's going for Tantal's base, maybe Tantal's RT. There's an SMD here, it's loaded. Nuke achieves nothing. And Double flies forward. His base is dead. Everything's dead. Double is flying in for a bold shenanigan, and he suicides. They did finish the Paragon, by the way. That was an insane game. With increasingly wild attempts to take out each team's RT, that was an insane finish. In particular, I'm surprised the air dominance, which swapped all the time, wasn't more important in sniping out the artillery pieces. Anyway, tell me what you thought in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. I'm the Commissar. I will see you next time.